This is WYCE's Community Close-Up. Community Close-Up is a weekly public affairs program that we produce in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyper-local news service here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. This program, Community Close-Up, seeks to bring you a diverse perspective of viewpoints from community leaders and organizations throughout West Michigan. This is WYCE Station Manager Phil Tower. Pleased to welcome Whitney Valentine, Director of Education and Exhibitions with the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. And I'm also pleased to welcome Brad Montague, who will be introducing in just a second, keynote speaker for a conference sponsored by the Saugatuck Center for the Arts, the Curiosity In Action Conference, happening on April 26th at the beautiful Saugatuck Center for the Arts in where else but Saugatuck, Michigan. There is a lot going on with the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. Whitney Valentine, thank you for joining us on the program.
So excited to be here and share a little bit of the magic that's happening at the SCA.
So give us the real quick, we'll say a minute or so, share our listeners who are not enlightened about how awesome, how enlightening, how wonderful Saugatuck Center for the Arts is. Share with them about what you are and what you do.
Sure. And thank you. We think that it is really special here. We are a community-based art center serving our community. So we aspire to be a transformational organization. We're wanting to create spaces and belonging and really enhancing the quality of life through art. And our mission is to nurture the art, the artists, and our audiences, fostering curiosity and connection through shared creative experiences. So that takes a lot of different shapes and sizes, lots of different programming opportunities and different audiences. But at the end of the day, we believe that we are transforming your life through creativity and art.
And you know what? If you don't get enough of that, you feel like you're shriveling up, right?
Truly. We need more and more and more and more of it right now.
Whitney is the Director of Education and Exhibitions with the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. And I know this because I've done my research. She's also the creative idea behind a really exciting conference happening on April 26th. It's the focus for this program. And the conference is at the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. Curiosity in Action, a conference in doing. What is Curiosity in Action? A conference in doing. It's a conference, a full day of unique and immersive experiences highlighting the intersection of wellness and creativity, because this is important. Those two definitely are intertwined. They do go together. Whitney, I'm really excited. We're going to welcome Brad Montague, who is an amazingly creative and wonderful guy. He has an exhibit right now at Saugatuck Center of the Arts. It'll be there until May 16th, called We Hope You Feel Better. So give us a backstory on, first of all, the exhibit, and then how the Curiosity in Action conference in doing all came together.
So this is a long dream of mine, really, a dream come true. You only have a few of those in your lifetime, and this is one of them. So I had been following Brad and Christy's work for years, was a big fan, and got up the nerve to write the email in the, generic form on Brad's website, and he answered. So long story short, they agreed. They finally agreed after some convincing, some begging.
Said no first.
Yes.
I got to stop this show right here. I got to tell you, I do this so many times. I send blind messages to websites. And I got to tell you right now, just full disclosure, I love Brad, and I've never met him. I love the fact that he just responded, because that says he's a higher level human being than I think a lot of us are. And even if you said no at first, Brad, props to you. I love it. By the way, for our listeners on WYCE, Brad is the creator of the hit web series Kid President. Yes. He's that guy, Kid Congress, and the author of Becoming Better Grownups and the New York Times bestsellers, Kid President's Guide to Being Awesome and the Circles All Around Us. He's an illustrator. He and his wife live in Tennessee, and they are a creative and dynamic couple. So you got this message from Whitney, Brad. What happened next?
Yeah, my wife and I were able to collaborate on, what we could create and design there at the Saugatuck Center for the Arts that would be an experience that would be playful, but also moving in some way and funny, And then we were really inspired by actually going and visiting the space and the people and just being there. We went about a year before we installed the exhibit and got to meet everybody. We saw Whitney, we saw their whole team, and we just fell in love. We fell in love with the
Hmm.
spirit, we fell in love with the mission, we fell in love with the community. And it just, it was, as much as it was a collaboration between my wife and I, it was also us kind of in conversation with the community there. And it's been a real joy.
So the exhibit came together through that visit. And what I want to ask is, what do you want people to take away from the exhibit? We hope you feel better.
Yeah, so the exhibit is called We Hope You Fail Better. And I'm from Tennessee, and so, we have these southern accents, so it's not exactly We Hope You Feel Better, which could sometimes come across. It is We
Yeah.
Truly Hope You Fail Better, which sounds like you're not hoping good things for somebody. But I
Yeah.
actually, I'm a dad and I work with children a lot, and I'm learning what a gift failure can be when done well and when done in community. And so this is about exploring that, the pain, the uncertainty of it. And we want people to be able to come and feel courageous when they leave, feel encouraged when they leave. There's one of my favorite parts in the gallery is people have been able to call this toll-free number to leave encouraging messages to people. You can put headphones on and hear voices from literally all around the world. And some are adults, some are YouTube stars, like Miss Rachel called, but then some are kids. Like there's a kid who left a voicemail saying, "You may feel like a raccoon in a dumpster." And it's this beautiful collage of different voices coming in. And it's just a reminder you're not alone. And it's a
Yeah.
very human exhibit, but it's hopefully reminds us we're not alone and we can create really cool things together if we just allow each other to grow and help each other grow.
Yeah, and maybe the most important message is failure is not final. It's even
Yeah.
not permanent. It's not the thing that drags behind you like a ball and chain.
Yeah, there's this bubble of perfectionism that I think there's so much pressure on adults and kids, and we can come together as communities to show what that looks like when we can be creative and compassionate together. And that's what I really love that the Center for the Arts has taken the idea for the show and all the art we created and turned it into this whole other experience where schools have been able to come through, people from all different ages and walks of life, and this conference is very much an extension of that. It's a way to bring people into conversation around it. What do we do next?
We're speaking with Brad Montague. That's who you just heard. He is the creator, he and his wife Christy, are the creator of an exhibit called We Hope You Feel Better. And they're an integral part of what will be a conference called Curiosity in Action, a conference in doing. Brad will be the keynote speaker, not to be missed, Saturday, April 26th from 9 to 5 p.m. at the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. You do need to register, and all the information is at SC, the number 4, and the letter A.org, sc4a.org, or I promise you, Google is awesome if you just type in Saugatuck Center for the Arts. So I want to ask you, Whitney, and Brad, feel free to jump in as well. Who should be inspired to attend Curiosity in Action?
We have designed this day for anyone who is curious. For lifelong learners, we're specifically wanting educators and anyone who's working with children, anyone who is curious about how art is this tool for connection to come. It really is a conference for everyone. Curiosity is this action word, and we want to create a space that we can all come together. Anyone who's creatives, we've been saying that this conference is like the antidote to anyone who has creative burnout or is feeling lonely or just stuck or wants community. It is a conference for everyone.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume you don't need to be a creative person or an artistic person necessarily, even if you're in a position of leadership. Creativity is a really powerful tool to have in here. I'm sorry, I'm going to use an overused phrase, in your toolkit. I just said it.
We'll
It's
allow it. We'll forgive you. It's okay.
it's an important thing to have that, even if you are a COO or a mid-level manager. It's important to have that. But I love this statement I'm reading here, which a big part of the conference, Whitney, is to have people have the opportunity to try on ideas that are being shared by presenters, maybe things they're not comfortable with, but that's a healthy thing, right?
Exactly. If we're not failing, we're not learning. And we're wanting to create spaces throughout the day. And even the structure of the conference is using an adult learning model that encourages practice and reflection. So we've all been to conferences, we've all sat still in a theater and had people talking at us all day. But we really wanted to flip that and really wanted it to be interactive, immersive, that it's more like a creative retreat where you're able to get information, really quality, juicy information, but then have time to try it on, to practice it, to reflect, to spend time in small groups with an incredible dynamic group of leaders and partners that we have curated at the SCA that's leading those small groups. So our hope is that it's a day of really celebrating the intersection between creativity and wellness, but that it's a day packed full of, discovery and your own curiosity, that at the end of the day, you want to feel like your cup has been filled, that you've hopefully met a handful of new friends, that you're inspired. We all are seeking that connection and all seeking, wanting to feel better, to feel more creative. I would argue it's not only important to have creativity, it's essential. So we're
Yes.
going to teach you, gonna elaborate on a lot of the science, what it's doing to our bodies, why it's so good for us, why it's healthy, why it makes us feel good, and how to incorporate more of it in your life.
And Brad Montague, you're the keynote speaker for the Curiosity in Action conference on April 26th. Give us a kind of a sneak peek, just a little sneak of what you're
Yeah,
talking
well,
about.
I'm going to print out this Excel spreadsheet and I'm just going to read it in front of everybody. Very monotone. And you
I'm
get a
in.
lanyard. No, it's going to be the opposite of that. That's what I was really drawn to when they started talking about what this was going to be. Is it's going to be the kind of thing that you can only experience in person and with the people, and that it's going to be interactive, hands-on. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, the kind of community that's going to gather, the kind of ridiculous fun we're going to have. And like I got to do a workshop not long ago, and it was really interesting the kinds of people that this sort of exhibit and this kind of attitude brings in, where it was people who were executives. It was also people who work in classrooms, people who are counselors. And there was also like a group of kids who skipped school. Like I just was blown away by how different everybody was, but how this is human and
Mhm.
playful. And that's where some of the best stuff happens. And that's where we can unite and come together. So I can't wait.
It's happening on April 26th at the Saugatuck Center for the Arts, the Curiosity in Action Conference, a conference in doing. But you want to register as you're hearing us on the radio this weekend. This is just 2 weeks away, a little less than 2 weeks away if you're hearing us on Sunday. And most importantly, you want to get registered so you can be a part of it. It is an all-day conference from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Regardless of the weather, it's going to happen, right, Whitney? It's going to happen. And you've got a space enough for a bunch of really plugged in attendees. Probably more importantly, once you've registered and if people have information, maybe curious about bringing a group or a group of coworkers, is there any kind of information you'd like to share with them?
Yeah, bring a friend, number one, that this is more enjoyable if you have a community around you. We have group discounts. We have lunch provided. It is really going to be an amazing day. Lots of novelty and surprise sprinkled throughout. And it really is, I think, an experience for anyone who is curious, anyone who is creative, and anyone who is curious about how wellness and creativity are really, there is a very magical intersection of the two of them. And how can we create a better world? The question we're asking all day long is, can art and creativity create real change? And we think it does.
I couldn't agree more. That's Whitney Valentine, Director of Education and Exhibitions with the Saugatuck Center for the Arts. And also with us on this segment of Community Close-Up on WYCE, Brad Montague, the keynote speaker for the Curiosity in Action Conference. And of course, New York Times bestselling author, along with his wife, Christy, of a number of books. His newest book is Failibration. I have a good idea that might be at the conference, Brad Montague. just have a little idea. Fair enough?
It's there. And there's a special version of it there that's actually has the typo that's in it corrected.
I love it. I love it. And we're going to let that be the final word. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. Want to really encourage our WYCE listeners, kick your creativity gene in high gear or whatever it is. Curiosity in Action, a conference in doing April 26th, and more at sc4a.org. You've been listening to WYCE's Community Close-Up, a weekly public affairs program we produce here in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyper-local news service at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. I'm WYCE Station Manager Phil Tower. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next week right here.
You have the best listeners in the world. I love them.